Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video on the channel, and today we are dissecting the League One promotion race. We are 15 games into the new League One season, which means we're pretty much a third of the way through the season. I thought we'd have a look at the top half of the League One table and see who looks like they could go up this season. If you haven't already guys, make sure you've dropped a like on this video, subscribed if you're new, and let's have a look at the table and work our way down. So then, starting at the top of the league, we do have Plymouth Argyle. After 15 games, they've picked up 30 points, averaging 2 points per game. What a start for them. To be honest, I think at the start of the season I predicted them to be mid-table, and they've really proved me wrong so far. It's a real massive improvement on the 18th place finish they had last season in League One, and to be honest I couldn't see it happening, but they have been so good. They've pretty much been flawless. They've only lost one game in that opening 15. The only thing that they might think niggles them a little bit is the 6 draws. Just turn a couple of them into wins and they'd be even further clear, but it's still a really good start for Plymouth Argyle. Defensively, they're really good, conceding less than 1 goal per game, which is obviously a good formula to getting promoted, especially with the goals they are scoring. 26 scored in 15, which is very good. I think it's the second top in League One, and Ryan Hardy banging in 8 goals. You've got a player like that who could get over 20 this season, then things are looking good for Plymouth. It is tight at the top. Plymouth would like to stretch their legs, but if they could just still be up there come Christmas and after Christmas, then their fans will be very happy, and who knows what could happen. Next up are Wycombe Wanderers, another club who's kind of proved me wrong. I did think they'd be strong in their return to League One, having been relegated from the Championship last year, but they've really excelled, and to be honest, they're in one of the best positions in the league with 30 points from 14 games. The only reason they're below Plymouth is because of the goal difference, although they do have a game in hand. Gareth Ainsworth's team have been fantastic in their return to League One. They're brushing some teams away, quite frankly. They're in scintillating form with 9 wins in the opening 14 games. It's kind of like they've taken the form from the end of the last season in the Championship into the start of this new season in League One. Let's remember guys, they were so close to surviving in the Championship in the end. A point or two and they'd have probably stayed up, and in the end Derby survived, but Wycombe was so close to doing it. But they look like they could bounce back to the Championship this season. Their fans will want them to keep this up. Next up, Wigan Athletic, another team who's kind of proving me wrong. I think I put them just outside the playoffs at the start of this season, and to be honest, they've really kicked on a bit like Plymouth. I think they finished 20th last year, only just surviving in League One, and now they're third, and 13 games played, 28 points. That's more than 2 points per game, so they are in a really good position with 3 wins in their last 4. Wigan are pretty much a formed team. It's going to be interesting to see if they can keep this up over the season. And literally right on their tails are Sunderland. The team that finished 4th last season are currently 4th this season, but once again they've only played 13 games. The table's a little bit misleading in that sense, because some teams have played 15, some have played 14, some have played 13. So once those games in hand have been played and everyone's caught up, the table might look a little bit different. But for now, Sunderland are in one of the strongest positions and looking very good. Ross Stewart has scored 9 goals in those opening 13 games for Sunderland, which is a sensational start for him. And they've got a really good home record as well, despite their first defeat at home against Charlton at the weekend just gone. It's looking pretty good for Sunderland. Next up, in 5th place, are Rotherham United, a team you'd associate at being this end of the League One table, having just come back down from the Championship. And to be honest, I do fancy them to go back up this season. Rotherham are always in and amongst the playoffs, or if not, in the automatics, and it's been a really good start for them. Michael Smith is bagging goals, and it's going to be interesting to see how the next fixtures play out, because Rotherham play Sunderland. That could be a corker. After that very bunched up top 5, you come down to Oxford in 6th place, just as they finished there last season, and Oxford are always in and amongst the playoff race, aren't they? I think this is a few seasons in a row now they've been mixing it in with the playoffs, and that's really good, considering Oxford have come a long way since 5 or 10 years ago. And yeah, it's looking good for Oxford. 7 wins in 14, that's a win every 2 games, so they'll be hoping to keep it up, but it is very tight up there. Next then are MK Dons, a team that have come a real long way from last season, finishing 13th, where there was glimpses last season that MK Dons looked good, but I think over the course of the season you knew they weren't good enough for the top 6. But maybe this season they could be. They're in and amongst it, only just behind Oxford in 7th place. And yeah, with 23 goals scored and 20 conceded, MK Dons are quite an interesting team to watch. In 8th place are Burton Albion, 8 places above where they finished last season in 16th place. They are really a team on the move. When you go back to the start of last season, it wasn't looking good. They did well to stay up, and they've really pushed on this season as well. I think Burton Albion look a strong outfit, and another team that wouldn't surprise me if they were to sneak in there this season. They just need to be a little bit more consistent, because their form is win, lose, win, lose. I don't know what to expect from them, to be honest. Next up, Sheffield Wednesday. They've been a really interesting addition to League One. I didn't expect them to be a little bit stronger than they have been, but they've still been pretty good, at times showing some real quality and some real glimpses at a team that could get promoted this season. But ultimately, just outside the playoffs, I think their fans will be a little bit disappointed by that. I think 3 draws in a row isn't great form for a team like Sheffield Wednesday. Like I say, a big club, big fan base. You'd expect them to at least be in the top 6 this season, but they're in and amongst it. I think just put a good run together, they'll get in there, and I still have faith that Sheffield Wednesday will make the top 6 this season. In 10th place are Ipswich Town, probably the most interesting team to watch this season, the most drama, to be honest. Top scorers in the league, but not a great start to the season. They've really started to burst through the seams with some really good results lately. A last-minute winner against Fleetwood, and I think they won 4-0 at Portsmouth the week before, so Ipswich really are coming into their stride, and that is just the nature of League One. A team that looked like they were going to have a poor season at the start could really shoot up there and not even just make the playoffs, but they could even make the automatics if they keep this kind of form up. I don't know with Ipswich, they're so inconsistent. I think they could finish anywhere, but the main thing is their fans will be happy they're in good form. Macaulay Bond's got 10 goals already this season. Things are looking up for Ipswich Town as of now. In 11th place are Accrington Stanley. Their form with 6 wins and 6 defeats from the opening 14 games means that they're pretty much down the middle, aren't they? And anything could happen for a team like Accrington. A couple of wins and they start shooting up the table, a couple of defeats and they start falling away, but I think Accrington are a solid team. They've really established themselves in League One and they're really underrated as well. They always give a team a hard-fought game and you really have to scrap to get the 3 points off Accrington Stanley. I think they could be a team that, once again, put a little run together. They could be in there this season, so it'll be interesting to see how their season plays out. And the final team we're going to talk about today are Bolton Wanderers, down in 12th place. They had a pretty decent start to the season, considering as well they've just come up from League Two. A really good follow-on from that season. But their recent form hasn't been so good. I think they've only picked up 1 point in their last 4, and as a result they are now 5 points away from the playoffs. If they can just get back to winning ways, a bit like Accrington, they can shoot up there and really challenge, because I think this Bolton team's got resilience, it's got quality, the fans can get right behind them, and yeah, they're the kind of team I'd like to see return to the Championship. It'll be interesting to see how their season plays out as well. That wraps up today's video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Obviously, there's plenty of teams below Bolton in the table as well, and they could still make a charge for the playoffs this season. It is still very early days, but it's interesting to see how the first 15 games have gone for some teams. Like I say, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, please make sure to drop it a like. Do subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.